So here we have a new 2024 Hyundai Venue. Now this one comes in the limited trim level in ultimate red, and then we have black cloth interior. For the powertrain, we get a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine that's made into an intelligent variable transmission. So I'm going to see how this kind of holds up to the SEL I just drove. As we get to the front end here, we do get LED daytime running lights and LED headlamps, which I didn't have on that SEL tester I just reviewed, but I love how much of a difference that makes, just having that, and then also having this chrome grille here, just makes it look that much more sleek in my opinion. Now we get these same 17-inch alloy wheels, which look pretty good. Passive keyless entry on the front doors, and then power door lock controls are here, power mirror controls, and then we have one-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side window, just regular power windows for the other 3 doors. I even like the trim there, just how it's kind of blacked out. That looks nice. And hood release here. We do get a manual tilt telescopic steering wheel. And then we get that same 6-way manual driver's seat as we get in that SEL. So even with this being a limited, kind of disappointed we don't have a power seat here, but there's probably a reason for that, just with how these are made. But as we come over here, huge shout out to Hyundai of Cool Springs for allowing me to review this vehicle today. I'll leave a link below in the description. One thing I find interesting is that SEL that I tested had a sunroof, and it was $1,000 cheaper than this one, but this one's $24,930 as opposed to $23 and some change for that SEL. So just an interesting fact there. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So let's go ahead and check out this rear seat room. So same space here, not the best, but subcompact SUV to be expected. Now we have USB-C charge ports here, and then this is interesting. I think this might be removable, but you have a little cup holder there. Interesting how they did that. But there's a view of the front. Netted seat back pocket here. Let's go ahead and make our way towards the back. But first I'm gonna go ahead and pop the gas cap. And sorry if you hear me sniffling throughout the video, it's extremely cold out here. And I love the back end look there. We also have LED tail lamps, which is impressive. And then underneath the vehicle, there's the exhaust there. So, okay, space back here. Again, this is a very small vehicle, even though it kind of has an SUV shape. It's spare there. And then your top tethers are behind the seat there. And then as we come around to the rear passenger side, we can fold these flat just by pulling up on this latch here. Seat has to be up far enough, and this one's pretty far back, but that'll fold flat and then easy to just lock it back into place by pushing it back up. Front passenger seat here, manual. Storage pocket up here, which I really like, and then bottom glove compartment there. But as we come back around to the front here, pretty similar, just everything other than like the little things compared to that SEL. Of course, having the LED headlamps, the cup holders. And this one also has a navigation system, which I'll show you here momentarily. But there's that 1.6 liter 4-cylinder. Let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So leather wrap steering wheel here, feels nice. There's the horn there. To the screen, we get an 8-inch navigation screen. So home button is basically just a button that you push there, and then you can kind of swipe through everything else. Now for the audio sources, we get AM, FM, XM, and then we have Bluetooth, wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto compatibility. There's a nav system there. Then in your setup here, if you want to change anything from your general settings to your vehicle settings, you can do that. So date and time, language, etc. You can even change your units here if you want to. Backup camera's there. Guidelines do follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And volume knob can be adjusted here. You can click that to mute the audio source, and then that's a tune knob there. And then shortcuts for all the important stuff down there, including a custom favorites button, which I really like. Hazards are there. Now here, if you want to turn this on, you would think to turn this knob, but you don't. But we have our single zone automatic climate control, so I can hit that auto there, adjust temperature there, adjust fan direction here, cut the whole system off, then adjust fan speed here. Then the AC toggle is there. But down here you get a USB-A port, a USB-C charge port, then a 12 volt. And what the SEL did not have was this wireless charging pad here. And then for the shifter, just grab this lever, reverse, neutral drive. Come over here, you can manually shift, if you will, that IVT. 3-stage heated front seats. Drive modes can be toggled there. You get normal, sport, snow. Bottle holders, parking brake. Center console cubby space, which is small, but it is there. And there's a look at the back seat from up here. Vanity mirror. Light is there. And then back to the steering wheel, the stalks behind, blinkers, headlamps, auto, off. And then you can turn the high beams on, turn them off, then flash there. And then over here we have the windshield wiper controls. So one time off, intermittent, low, high. We can adjust that intermittent here. And then we have our rear wipers here. Push back for that rear wiper fluid, pull up for that front wiper fluid. And then in auto mode, one thing I forgot to mention is you do have the automatic high beam, so you can click that on or off there, and it'll show you on the gauge cluster when they're enabled and when they're not. But to the left side of the steering wheel, you can hit that mode button to go through your audio sources. Voice recognition button is here. Volume can be toggled up and down there. Click to mute, and then you can go through your track list or radio station save presets here. Bluetooth, you get a second favorites button, so you can customize this and that star there. And then we can go through our sub menus here. So you have tire pressure monitors, and then you can kind of see the safety system working. Then cruise control, you can toggle that up or down there, pause or resume there. And then you can use this to go through each sub menu when applicable. And then you can hit the OK button to have further functionality there. Push button start, key fob with remote start. And next, let's take this Venue Limited out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Venue Limited drives pretty similarly to the SEL I just drove, almost identical. There aren't any big changes comparing the SEL trim level to this Limited, other than a few of the features. Like we do get that navigation system, the LED headlamps, LED tail lights, but for the most part, everything is pretty similar. I do like that we have the blind spot monitors here. Those are a big help. But in terms of how these drive, that's really not what you get them for. You get these because they're inexpensive, they're easy to drive, and they're easy to maintain. So I'm talking about just the fuel economy. I think you get 26 city, 33 highway EPA estimates here. You could probably do a little bit better just depending on how you drive, where you are in terms of elevation and things of that nature. But it's not bad to drive. It's not necessarily fun, but for what it is, it gets the job done, and that's why you get one of these anyway. The brakes feel right, the throttle response feels right for this to be a 1.6 liter non-turbo engine. And the IVT kind of serves two purposes in being fuel efficient and then also being a bit peppier, just because you don't have to worry about actual shift points that you might have from a standard transmission, whether that's a stick shift or an automatic. But we'll definitely put our foot to it getting on the interstate. So I'm gonna put it into the sport mode. And I'm not gonna floor it, but I'm gonna give it a bit just to see how it gets up to speed. gonna put it back into normal mode now, set the cruise. Now I do like how it sticks to the road. I don't feel like it's about to give out or anything. Even as I come around, not necessarily sharp corners, but sharper corners. So that's always good. And then the lane keeping system does a pretty good job at making sure I don't go out of the line. So as I veer over, it kind of vibrates the steering wheel, it nudges me back a little bit. But overall, again, for a commuter car, pretty impressive. But I want to give one more shout out to Hyundai of Cool Springs for allowing me to review this Venue today. I'm glad I'm able to compare the trim levels back to back, mostly to kind of see if they drive any differently, which they don't, but also just because I'm able to see the subtle differences in each trim. So you might think, all right, I don't want to necessarily pay another $1,000 for these few features, or that might be something that makes you decide, hey, I want to go up a trim level because I want this and don't necessarily need something else. But decent transportation, I think. Probably more inexpensive to fix than other competitors, I guess, in terms of having a bigger engine or a different transmission. And with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited.